Welcome to Australia, the land of stunning beaches, animals that only exist to make you regret being alive, and people who can't say no. No, 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 no. No, you just love to remind me in the comments every single time. It's also home to an army that lost a war against giant birds that can't even fly. Sounds fake, doesn't it? Yeah, wish it was. But how big's an emu, Brianne? About this big? Yeah, pretty big. Bit of size on them. You may think of Australia as a peaceful nation if you ignore all of the genocide, but that's probably just because we couldn't even win a war against a bird, let alone another country. Half the fight's in picking your battles, and we picked the wrong one with these birds. Welcome to Cooked History, a series I decided to start on this channel about like 5 minutes ago. Haven't thought of a better name, feel free to leave suggestions. If you're new here, welcome to my low budget shit show. While I've got you here, if you've got a spare minute, check out my clothing brand Riff Supply Co so I can keep funding videos like this. Get some fuck off socks, grab a tote bag. No one wants to pay 15 cents at Coles for a plastic bag. Grab one of these hats, guaranteed to make you at least 15% more attractive. I don't think legally I can say that, but I did literally get a message from a guy today saying that one of our hats helped him get a girlfriend. And that's all I'll say about that. If you're currently naked and need a t-shirt, a crew neck, a hoodie, whatever it is, as long as it's only those things, riffsupplyco.com, go get amongst it. What we're not gonna do is get a public indecency charge because we're naked in the streets. Not shocking to anyone to hear that Australia is a ridiculous place. No one wears shoes. The first police force in Australia was just made up of the most well-behaved criminals, because we were a prison colony for a hot minute. Butter and sprinkles on bread is considered a delicacy, and we've got at least 5 fucking time zones in this country. Why? For the chaos of it all. I don't know, I just work here. But in the running for the top 10 most ridiculous facts about this island is the Great Emu War. One that may even imply that we won, which definitely didn't happen. Honestly, if I was the Australian military, I would just gaslight everyone and deny this ever happened, but that's just me. Each to their own. The absolute gumption that it takes to label this the Great Emu War leads me to believe that an emu named it. This bird's literally on our coat of arms, so it would be like Americans waging war against a bald eagle. So jot that down in your notes as we proceed. But we also eat kangaroos and they are on our coat of arms as well, so nothing is sacred. So let me take you back to 1932. Amelia Earhart had just completed the first non-stop solo flight across the Atlantic Ocean. Wall Street was going tits up and the Great Depression was basically ruining everyone's day. Hitler managed to get German citizenship, which really just worked out swimmingly for the rest of the world for years to follow. Australia was also very busy. We were sick of these fucking birds running around everywhere ruining shit. Introducing the wildlife management device. Introducing the nuisance wildlife military. Fuck. Introducing the nuisance wildlife. I don't know what this fucking thing is called. Introducing the Nuisance Wildlife Management Military Operation. Try saying that after 5 beers. I can't even say it sober. So Big Bird and his bogan cousins, who all can run about 50 k's an hour, about 5 kilometers an hour faster than Usain Bolt. We'll just say you're not going to win a game of Tiggy with an emu. So these big feathery heathens were on the trot 24/7, disrespecting their surroundings, breaking fences, destroying wheat crops around Western Australia. And then once those fences were broken, other animals like rabbits and dingoes could get in and wreck even more shit. I don't know what they were doing. They were having a bush off, who knows. The Great Depression was hitting everyone pretty hard and the farmers had had a gut full of it, so they walked up to the Minister of Defence and said, "Can you get off your ass and do something about this, please?" I assume. So the Minister of Defence effectively picked a fight against, let me reiterate, birds that can't fly. If you were to ask me what a bird does, I would say fly. What do birds do? Generally, they fly. And what do these birds do? Not that. They just kicked our entire military's ass in a war about wheat. Effectively. And as is to be expected when you pick a fight against giant wildlife in this country, nothing went to plan. As soon as the shooting started, the emus scattered off into fast-moving, hard-to-hit small groups. Bullets are fast, apparently emus are faster. And what's even more impressive is that even when the soldiers did manage to shoot an emu, the emus didn't know they were supposed to be injured by that because they didn't give a shit. They could withstand several bullets to their bodies and just didn't really seem to notice. Honestly, pretty badass. Every attack basically went down like this, including an ambush on 1,000 emus, which can we just picture that for a second? An unsuccessful ambush on 1,000 emus. Hilarious. And the reason that this particular ambush was a failure is because apparently the machine gun jammed, which is exactly what I would say if I lost a fight against something with 2 legs and no arms. This all lasted for about a month, at which point everyone was like, well, fuck this. Understandable. If I try to put something in a power socket and I have to fumble around for more than 2 seconds, I give up. So I get that. The army used 10,000 rounds of ammunition, which worked out to be about 10 rounds per emu killed. The military even stated publicly that with every new strategy they used against the emus then adapted to the battle and were able to continue evading them with new strategies. Which honestly, I would have kept to myself if I was the military, because that's kind of embarrassing. This is a direct quote from Meredith, who was in charge of this dumpster fire, in an interview with Australian media. The army also acknowledged that each pack seemed to have its leader. This is the emus they're talking about. A big black plumed bird which stands fully 6 feet high and keeps watch while his mates carry out their work of destruction and warns them of our approach. And that's a good mate right there, ride or die. Major GPW Meredith of the 7th Heavy Battery of the Royal Australian Artillery. You know what? At that point, just give your team a nickname. That's way too long. But these blokes said if we had a military division with the bullet carrying capacity of these birds, it would face any army in the world. They can face machine guns with the invulnerability of tanks. Which is, honestly, it's a little bit concerning. I'm a little bit scared. I think maybe we should send them like an edible arrangement, some flowers or something to the emus, get them back on our good side, because that's fucking terrifying. Probably good to note as well, this whole assault was carried out by like 3 guys with some guns. Couple of dudes with some rooty tooty point and shooties basically. But it was much funnier thinking all the way up until this point that it was a whole army, wasn't it? Don't say I never do anything for you. But yeah, literally a handful of soldiers against God knows how many birds that can be shot multiple times and not die if you can shoot them at all. What ended up solving the problem was the government putting a bounty on emus like some old Western movie. I assume they had the flyers out and everything, just this weird looking head on it. 400 schmeckles or whatever the fuck, I don't know. But lo and behold, the problem was eventually solved. The lesson in all of this? Question mark? Never send the government to do what a bunch of farmers armed with common sense and experience can do better. Would honestly solve a lot of global issues if any of us learnt that lesson ever. Over time, the farmers collected a bounty on about 57,000 emus. If you're a bit of an environmentalist and you're upset by the culling of emus, understandable, you might be wondering, are we allowed to kill emus now? And the answer is like maybe? According to the Australian Wildlife Protection Council, the law on killing emus is very clear. Although their status has been changed to protected species, they can be culled if they enter private properties and with appropriate gun licenses. So if you're an emu, you're all sweet. For the most part, just don't go over to Daryl's house for a barbecue, unless you would like to be on the menu. I think that's how the law works. But what did the rest of the world think of this? They thought what we all thought when we first heard this. What the fuck is going on down there? Sort your shit out. But one ornithologist, which is apparently someone that studies birds, this ornithologist in 1932 said it more eloquently. The machine gunner's dreams of point-blank fire into a serried mass of emus was soon dissipated. The Emu Command had evidently ordered guerrilla tactics and its unwieldy army soon split up into innumerable small units that made use of the military equipment uneconomic. A crestfallen field force therefore withdrew from the combat area after about a month. In conclusion, you gotta give it to the feathery little shits. You really do. They won a war where they were completely unarmed, and no, literally they had no fucking arms either. Let's keep that in mind. They can't even fly, and they don't have guns, and they still won. Gotta give them that. If you enjoyed this video, give it a like, subscribe, turn the bell on. And if you want to see more of these, leave some topics below that might be of interest to people. There's so much weird history in the world. There's like, this could go on forever. If you would like to support the channel, either check out my clothing brand or I also have a Patreon. There's multiple different tiers depending on your budget or what you're after. We've got a private Discord where we can all chat with each other. For certain tiers, your name will be listed at the end of every video. There's also bonus content that I don't upload on YouTube. You can get the official low budget shit shirt tee, which you can't buy anywhere. Everyone that's in the inner circle tier or higher, I write out little handwritten notes and send them out to you. If you're in the top tier, I dedicate the whole end of a video to you, depending on what you want. But yeah, it's a cool little community over on Patreon where I want to give you guys something while you're supporting the channel. Have a great day. Don't pick a fight against birds. I don't think it'll end well, and I will see you in a few days with a new video.